So what's up, guys? Today we're going to learn about photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Now, photosynthesis is the reaction by which plants convert light energy, some water, and some CO2 into glucose and, well, mainly glucose and oxygen. Now, you'll see where each of these reactants are used and how glucose is made and how oxygen is made in the following video. Okay, so where does this occur, you ask? Well, photosynthesis happens in the chloroplast of the cell, of a plant cell, sorry. So photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast of the cell. The chloroplast is made up of these structures called the two main structures, in photosynthesis are the thylakoid membranes, which a stack of these are called granum. And this is basically where half of the first half, at least, of photosynthesis occurs. And then you have the stroma, which is like the liquid inside of a cell, for instance. And this is where the second half occurs of photosynthesis. Okay, so let's talk about the two stages of photosynthesis. The two stages of photosynthesis, well, the first one is the light-dependent reactions. Light-dependent reactions, and then sorry for my bad handwriting, but light-dependent reactions, and then you have the Calvin cycle, or the light-independent reactions. Okay, so basically the products of these reactions are sent to the sent as the reactants of this reaction. Okay, so what happens in the light-dependent reactions? Basically what happens is that light energy is taken in by the electrons in these pigments and absorbed by it, and the electron gets so excited that it jumps to a higher energy level, and this keeps happening, and it gets so far away from the nucleus that it can just pop off because the nucleus has no power over it anymore. So how does this, what does this have to do with anything, you asked, right? Okay. Well, we'll get into this. Okay, so light energy strikes, okay, wait, 1 second. So there's these two structures called PS1 and PS2, or photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Basically, these are the things that capture or absorb the light energy and send off electrons to do various things. Okay, so first, from photosystem 1 gets its electron excited by by absorbing the light energy created by the sun, and it sends its electron to this molecule called NADP, which is then made into, with the help of a hydrogen atom, made into NADPH, which basically just transports electrons to the Calvin cycle. So now you might be asking, okay, hey, what happened to this one electron that's not here anymore, right? this electron, this electron's gone, right? So it just has one less electron. Well, what actually happens is that when photosystem 2 gets an electron in photosystem 2 gets excited, it's then sent through an ATC. So this is an ETC. It's the same as cellular respiration. And so through this ETC, hydrogen ions are pumped across the membrane, and it replenishes the electron lost by photosystem 1. Okay, so then you might be asking, hey, what happens to photosystem 2? Where does it get its electron from, And yeah, that's a good question, but what happens is the main reason for water is for this exact reason. Water is basically split in half, and split into hydrogen and oxygen, and electrons are lost by the molecule, and so these electrons are then harvested by photosystem 2 to replenish itself. And as I've already said, this is an ETC, and so hydrogen ions are going to be present inside of the thylakoid lumen. And these hydrogen ions will cause a concentration gradient, and the hydrogens will try to move across the membrane, but they can't, but they can't just move across it. So the only way they can go through is by the help of ATP synthase. So let's go over what things have been made by the light-dependent reactions. And so the main products are that ATP is made, NADPH, and in photosystem 2, oxygen. So NADPH and ATP will move on to the next stage of photorespiration. What am I talking about? It's photosynthesis, and oxygen will just be released into the atmosphere for us to breathe. Okay, so then now that we have the NADPH, and the O2, or oxygen, ATP. What next, you might ask? Well, these are then used in the reactions that come next. So basically what happens is that you have this molecule called ribulose 1-phosphate, which is a molecule that's just there. And what happens is, ATP is added, and okay, so once ATP is added, this becomes ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, and this molecule is very unstable, so it breaks apart almost immediately into two different molecules, or three phosphoglycerates. That's after carbon dioxide is added. Okay, so carbon dioxide is added to this molecule, and this is basically where the carbon dioxide comes into play from the original formula. So more ATP is added, NADPH is added, all of these things are added until you get to this point where you have glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is then sent to the rest of the, it's basically, okay, you in this process you make 6 G3Ps. So you make 6 G3Ps. 6 G3Ps. You make 6 G3Ps, but only 5 can be used, because the rest are used in phase 3, or the regeneration of ribulose. See, because without this molecule, you can't have any of this happen, and you can't make this, or glucose, right? So 5 of these are used to replenish our supply of ribulose 1-phosphate. Okay, so all of this, but all of this is then used, all of this happens in this enzyme called Rubisco, which is basically an enzyme that that's in the stroma of the cell. The chloroplast, and it's just where this whole cycle occurs. Okay, so let's talk about the products. And yes, there's only one product. There's glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, or otherwise known as G3P. Okay, so glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is a 3-carbon molecule. 3-carbon molecule, and we need a 6-carbon molecule for glucose. So how does this happen? Well, I mean, it's just as you would think it would happen. You just add another 3-carbon molecule, and you get the 6-carbon molecule, or glucose. Now, this glucose can be used for, for cellular respiration and stuff like that. But let's say that it doesn't need glucose. It can make, with G3P, lots of other things can be made, such as cellulose. Cellulose is used for structure, if you don't already know that, in the plant cell. Okay, so let's review what happens in photosynthesis. Okay, so first we start off with light energy, and the light energy is photosystem 1 is struck by light energy, and the excited electron gets sent to NADPH, or is used to make NADPH, and photosystem 2, through the use of the ETC, replenishes that electron lost by photosystem 1, and water by splitting water, photosystem 2 is then replenished of its electron, and so you get all of your electrons back. But in the process of transferring these electrons, a hydrogen concentration gradient is made, and through the use of ATP synthase, ATP is generated. Now these two molecules are then sent to the Calvin cycle, where the rest of the reaction occurs. And so you have this molecule called ribulose 1-phosphate, which is which is then converted to ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, and a lot of energy is added in conjunction with carbon dioxide. And then in the end, you have this molecule called glyceraldehyde. Well, you actually have 6 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphates, but only 5 can be kept. 1 can be kept. 5 have to go back into this. And so you have 1 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and 2 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphates can make a glucose. So that is how glucose is made in a plant cell. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please write them in the comments below. Hope this helped.